Hello everyone, Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator are not standing still. Update 1.58 is one of the most important updates in years, and not because we got one new truck or one new map. This is an update that changes the foundations of the game, rebuilds the UI and UX, refreshes driving physics, introduces new systems, and prepares ETS2 and ATS for the future, consoles, roleplay, and new vehicle types. In this video, we'll go through everything step by step. What exactly was added in 1.58? What works really well? What in my opinion didn't fully land, and why? Despite a few downsides, I'm looking at this update very optimistically. If you enjoy calm, in-depth ETS2 and ATS content without shouting or clickbait, consider subscribing. There will be more analyses like this. Before we get into the update itself, a quick note for those planning purchases. Steam sales start on the 19th, so if you're thinking about buying ETS2 or ATS, you want to pick up DLCs, maps, or tuning packs, it's worth waiting a bit and grabbing what you want during the sale. You can often save quite a lot, especially on larger DLC bundles. Let's start with the biggest winner of update 1.58, the Renault Trucks T. This truck received a proper refresh, and you can really feel it. 2 new interiors, anthracite and carbon. 2024, a fully digital cockpit camera mirrors instead of traditional mirrors, new turbo compound engines, 440 and 480 new smart racer paint jobs, refreshed grills, badges, and exterior details. This is an example of an update done exactly the right way. The Renault, which was starting to feel outdated, finally catches up with the rest of the pack and can realistically compete with other brands again. In update 1.58, Scania received solid support, and it's very important to highlight that this applies both to the base game and the paid Mighty Griffin tuning pack DLC. New configuration options for the Scania R and S were added to the base game, while the Mighty Griffin pack was expanded with additional tuning elements. What exactly was added? New bumpers in multiple variants, new lighting configurations, including additional fog and position lights, new front-end elements, and more customization options for details, better separation of components, lights, steps, logos. This isn't a huge revolution, but these are exactly the small details that make a massive difference if you drive a Scania daily and enjoy customizing your truck. For Scania fans, this is a very solid update. In update 1.58, IVECO S-Way wasn't forgotten either. IVECO received a new 6x2 chassis, a mid-mounted steering and liftable axle, along with fixes and optimizations across the whole model. This isn't a spectacular refresh like the Renault, but it's exactly the type of change that gives more flexibility and configuration, allows better adaptation to specific routes and cargo. For IVECO drivers, this is a very sensible and much needed update. One of the best additions in 1.58 is the new Driving Academy module focused on handling double trailers. The module is structured very logically. Forward driving, maneuvering, reversing, which is the biggest challenge. In ETS2, you train with Eurocombi, in ATS with B-doubles. So scenarios are tailored to each game's reality. What's important? It's not frustrating, it genuinely teaches and it forces you to think, not just complete missions. Rewards Frankie the Dachshund, plush for your cabin. The Double Trouble achievement plus the Nerd of the Road achievement is now easier to obtain. A great move by SCS. There's one more thing in update 1.58 that's easy to overlook because it's not presented front and center coaches. In this update, SCS isn't adding coaches yet, but they're doing a lot to make the game world ready for them. On the map, we're starting to see new bus stations, coach terminals and bays, changes to city layouts and infrastructure. These are not random additions or visual decorations. They are foundations for the future coaches DLC. On top of that, we get physics changes, lighter vehicles, different driving characteristics, a rebuilt UI and quick info system that must support new vehicle types, preparation for road trip and passenger transport. It's very clear that SCS doesn't want to add coaches on top of old systems, but instead rebuilds the foundations first and only then adds new content. This is the same pattern we're seeing with new garages, physics, just CU, ESI, and maps. Update 1.58 is about preparing the game world for something bigger, not just delivering a feature patch. Now, something many players might have missed, but which is extremely important. A TS received completely new garages, and this is the first garage update since the game launched over 10 years ago. There are 3 garage types, and at first glance you can see modern architecture, very high quality execution, new lighting, interiors, and props. Space that doesn't feel like a menu, but a real place. This is where the roleplay topic comes in, something the developers themselves have mentioned. These garages are clearly built with interaction in mind. Question for you, what do you think we'll be able to do in these garages once SCS expands roleplay, manual repairs, preparing the truck for a trip, interacting with drivers, managing your fleet live. In ETS2, these garages will most likely arrive in Update 1.59. In American Truck Simulator, Update 1.58 isn't just about UI, physics, and garages, but also a major map rework and a very iconic one. We're talking about the Route 66 Rework project, a complete overhaul of parts of the legendary Route 66. What exactly was done? Completely rebuilt parts of northern Arizona and parts of New Mexico, refreshed I-40 and historic Route 66, rebuilt cities, roads, junctions, and landmarks. Cities fully rebuilt from scratch include Kingman, Flagstaff, Page, Kayenta, Camp Verde, Show Low. A completely new city was also added, Lake Havasu City, where you can drive across the London Bridge, a real bridge moved from London to Arizona. Meanwhile, Holbrook is removed, replaced by Winslow, known for its classic Route 66 atmosphere. On the New Mexico side, Gallup, Albuquerque, Tucumcari were rebuilt to modern SCS mapping standards. Importantly, this isn't just prettier visuals. This rework improves driving flow, increases immersion, makes ATS feel like a new game in old regions. It's also part of a long-term plan because Route 66 is meant to be fully completed alongside the upcoming Illinois DLC, and SCS is consistently bringing older areas up to current quality standards. If anyone thought map reworks were just cosmetic, Route 66 and 1.58 proves their full gameplay rebuilds. User interface and user experience. In Update 1.58 are the most controversial but also the most important part of this update. This is not a simple redesign. It's a rebuild of how the player communicates with the game, and one thing needs to be said clearly. These changes are not made only for PC players. They are made for consoles, controllers, new vehicle types, coaches, road trip, and future roleplay systems. The old Route Advisor has been completely removed and replaced with a widget-based system. What does this change? Instead of one overloaded panel, we now have separate HUD elements that can be toggled on and off. The result: cleaner HUD, no more cycling through views, everyone can tailor the screen to their driving style. This is a huge quality of life improvement, especially for players who drive without HUD, play immersively, or use controllers. Another major change is Quick Info, replacing the old pause menu. Now, in one place we have truck information, damage status, cargo and job details, country regulations, service options. Instead of searching through multiple menus, everything is clear and logically organized. From a user experience perspective, this is a big step forward. One of the best additions is pop-up notifications. The game now informs you about refueling, resting, cargo delivery, interaction points. For players who drive without HUD with minimal UI, this is a complete game changer. You no longer need to open Route Advisor just to check a single thing. Physics changes in Update 1.58 aren't something that immediately screams, hey, everything is different. And that's a good thing. This isn't an arcade update, it's refinement of the foundations. After a few hours of driving, you can feel that. The truck is more stable, lane keeping is better, steering recenters faster and more naturally. Steering response is more predictable. Driving feels smoother and less nervous. Especially in corners and at higher speeds, the difference compared to 1.57 is noticeable. What exactly changed? SCS really went under the hood. A new way of calculating engine throttle response, more realistic coasting behavior when lifting off the throttle, improved road collision geometry, especially in ATS, better tire-to-road contact, adjustments to axles, angles, and suspension behavior. These are things you don't see clearly listed in patch notes but feel constantly while driving. Most importantly, all this works on the basic game. If you play without mods, start fresh profiles, or plan to play on console, 1.58 offers the best physics ETS2 and ATS have had in years. For modders, this is an even better foundation for future realism mods. AI traffic. Traffic behavior in 1.58 is also less chaotic, less suicidal, less likely to block intersections. It's not perfect, but it's noticeably better. Weather and rain at the start of the open beta, there were issues. No raindrops on the windshield. Rain felt pointless. But this has been fixed. Wet roads look more natural. Weather starts to matter again. And yes, thunderstorms can still catch you off guard, especially with the first lightning strike. Looking at Update 1.58 as a whole, one thing is clear. This is not a normal patch. This is an update that cleans up old systems, rebuilds outdated mechanics, and lays foundations for years of future development. And that's exactly why not everyone will like it immediately. What worked really well? We got an excellent Renault Trucks T refresh, meaningful Scania R and S expansion, base plus mighty Griffin, a practical IVECO S-Way 6x2 update, a well-designed driving academy for double trailers, modern new garages in ATS, a massive Route 66 rework, the best driving physics in years, and a full UI and UX overhaul. That's a huge amount of work, mostly delivered for free. What isn't perfect? To be fair, there are downsides. The new UI removes some driving time information. The old F6/F7 quick views were simply more convenient. For PC players, immersion takes a hit. Beta builds had FPS drops in large cities. Players need to relearn the HUD. These criticisms are valid, and the community has every right to raise them. Why am I still optimistic? Because this update isn't just about today. It's built for consoles, controllers, road trip, coaches, roleplay, new vehicle types. The old UI was great for keyboard, terrible for controllers, impossible to defend on consoles. The new UI is simpler, clearer, more logical, fully controller-friendly. This isn't a mobile look, it's function over form. Update 1.58 requires adjustment, can be frustrating at times, isn't perfect, but at the same time, it genuinely improves game quality, delivers the best physics in ETS2 and ATS history, and opens a new chapter for the series. This is an update you'll appreciate more with time. Question for you: how do you feel about 1.58? More positives or negatives? And do you feel this is the start of a new era for ETS2 and ATS? If you enjoy calm, in-depth analysis like this, consider subscribing because there's more to come.